Okay, let's put this first one in here. Look on it, make sure you got your finished edge here. I'm going to lift that up at an angle. Before we snap it in, I'm going to hold this up at an angle and it'll stay right like that. Now I'm going to measure this and make sure I'm going okay. Okay, so now because I've got a cut here, I can measure right off the cut and follow that through. If your baseboard's going off, whichever side dips in the furthest, you want to measure from there. So before I snap this, you can just measure this. I got 3/8 there and I got a long 3/8 there. Okay, so that means I can push it over because I know this edge is going to be 5/16. I don't want it any closer than 5/16 and I don't want it any further than 3/8. And I made a square cut on here, but the baseboard is just dipping in here a little bit. So there's nothing I can do about that. So I've got 3/8 here, 5/16 there. That'll work, okay? Now I can snap that in. Because that was a small enough piece, just by doing that, it snapped right in. Now if it doesn't snap in, you take this little paddle thing and you hold it right there. And then you tap on that a little bit on both sides. And see, that's why you've got to have these shims in here. Because on some of the next rows, I'm going to be using this, tapping on it that way. Okay? And, okay, so now I have that piece in there. I've got to put shims on here. And there's a reason for that. So, you know, this one's pushed in there. So I've just got that. I make sure my slots are facing the right direction. And I snap that in there. If you want to measure that again and double check it, you can. And I'm okay, because you'd have to slide this whole thing that way with just these plastic shims, and you won't be able to do that. You know? Okay, that's good there. Now we're ready for the next piece. Now we'll be going with full pieces, okay? So you may start wondering, okay, how am I going to do this? Because if I put it in this lip here, like that, and snap that in, I still have to get it on this lip here. And I could go like that, but then if I push that down, then I have to tap that in all the way there with my paddle. And I found the easiest solution is to put it in the full length way first. Okay? Make sure it's in there. Make sure you got enough room that it's gonna slip down in there nice. And now, see, because this piece is longer, it doesn't want to go down all the way. So what I'm going to do is hang on to it. I'm just going to take my little paddle and tap on it just a hair, and that snaps that together. And I can do that here and over here, and there it went. Okay. Now I've got that. Now I have to get this down, so I have to tap on it from that end. But there's a special tool I got to use in order to do that. Now do you see why I had to put that shim at the end of this row? Because once I start tapping on it, I don't want it to go over any further that way, right? So that's why I've got that shim in there. Now as I tap on that, I've got to make sure this piece is pushed in the notch, because if it's lifted up ever so little, it's not going to go in. So I've got to kind of hold my foot down on it a little bit. Now I've got to tap on that. That's why after a while I'll have a little small piece, then I don't have to reach over here as far. Okay, now I'm just going to tap on this. I want to tap on it a little bit, and I want to check my joint over here. And looks like it went right on in. Look at that, it looks nice and finished. Look on that joint, and it came right together. Every time you tap on that after a while like that, you still want to look at your joints and make sure they're lined up. That's why I needed to put that shim in there, because I don't want this to push over any further. Okay? Now I just take this and move that, lift this up, pull that out, and I'm ready for my next piece. Incidentally, if you have sensitive ears, you might want to have some earplugs on for this, and that's what I do. After tapping on this metal bar after a while, it just gets to me. So I like to be safe rather than sorry for later on. Okay, I've got another full piece here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Line that up. Make sure you're in the groove pretty much the whole way. And you see that when I pushed it down, it kind of tapped in together right there. I felt it, but it's not in over here yet. So I got to push that down. I just tap on here. That one's in now. It just needs a little bit, and then it kind of has a tendency to want to lift that up too. I just do the middle to make sure. Okay, I look at that, everything's fine. Okay, you see I could put this upside down like that and tap on that to get this joint over, but I'm putting too much pressure on just one single point, and that's really not what that's designed for. This is designed to set up here like this and hit this that way because I can't get a block in there to pound on it. But you remember, I don't want to use this finished edge, so remember that piece I used? I'm going to have to break down and chop this off, you know, real short. I needed a little block like that anyways because I'll end up using this block for my entire floor. So this is cut, so you know, sometimes you're going to have to waste some of these planks. You're not going to be able to use every single inch of your planking. So when you go to the store to figure it out, it's always nice to get more than you think you need. Even if you got to get an extra box, you can always take an extra box back. But can you imagine if you got all your stuff and you got all done, you need 3 more pieces, you go back to the same store, oh, yeah, we're sold out of that, we're not going to get any more for 6 weeks. Or, by the way, that's a discontinued product. Didn't we tell you that? And you could have bought an extra box 2 weeks ago when you got all your flooring, but you thought you had plenty. Then, in that 2 weeks, it was all sold out. Okay, so think about that when you get ready to do your project.